Abraham Lincoln was the 16th President of the United States. He was also the tallest president. He stood 6 foot 4 inches. His wife told him that his beard would help him get elected. He was also part of the Republican Party. He was the first president to wear a long beard.
Franklin Roosevelt was 32nd President of the United States. Young Franklin was also related to his own wife. Eleanor Roosevelt was Theodore Roosevelt's brother's daughter. Franklin Roosevelt's mom clothed him in dresses until he was 5. After Pearl Harbor's Secret Service were afraid of him getting attacked, so they took an armed car from Treasury Department's impound. It was none other than Al Capone Cadillac that had been seized when he was arrested for tax evasion.
Franklin Pierce was the 14th President of the United States. President Pierce did not use a Bible to take the oath of office. He also didn't swear to his oath of office, he affirmed it. On top of that, he was the first to give his inaugural address without any notes. He gave the 3,319-word speech from memory. He always dressed in black. President Pierce was the first president to have a Christmas tree in the White House. Once, while riding a horse during a parade, it started to rain. While everybody ran for cover, he continued riding in the rain and declared, "I am not sugar, I shall not melt."
Ulysses S. Grant was the 18th President of the United States. His real name was Hiram Grant, but basically he has a fake name. He graduated from West Point College and couldn't stand the smell of blood.
John F. Kennedy was the 35th President of the United States. Kennedy was named Time Magazine's Man of the Year in 1961. He could read 1,200 words a minute with excellent comprehension. What a nerd!
Andrew Jackson was the 7th President of the United States. He is the only president that the state of his birth is in question. He was reportedly involved in many duels. One such instance was in 1806. Charles Dickinson made some unflattering remarks about Jackson's wife and accused him of cheating on a horse race bet. They decided to settle things by dueling, as in Jackson's style. Dickinson fired first and wounded Jackson. Jackson then fired, killing Dickinson. The bullet that wounded Jackson was lodged near his heart and could not be removed safely. He carried that bullet in his chest for the rest of his life. In 1835, Jackson was the first and only president to pay off the national debt. President Jackson owned a pet parrot named Polly. At his funeral, the parrot screamed curse words and had to be removed.
Barack Obama is the 44th President of the United States. He is the most talked about president in the U.S. He's the first African American president ever. His favorite sport is basketball, and all his speeches have been touching and poignant. He stands at 6'1".
William Howard Taft was the 27th President of the United States. At 325 pounds, Taft, who was dubbed Big Bill, was the largest president in American history and often got stuck in the White House bathtub. His advisors had to sometimes pull him out. Needing a big bathtub, he had a 7-foot-long, 41-inch-wide tub installed that could accommodate 4 normal-sized men. However, he later lost 150 pounds after leaving office. He was also the last president to regularly sport facial hair. President Taft loved milk so much that he brought his own cow to the White House. The cow's name was Mully Wooly. Mully was later replaced by another cow called Pauline Wayne. In 1921, Taft became the Chief Justice of the United States. He is the only president to head 2 branches of the federal government.
George W. Bush was the 43rd President of the United States. He was the first president to spend so much money on unofficial travels. He took a 5-week-long vacation. He was the head cheerleader at his high school, and his favorite cuisine is Mexican food.
Thomas Jefferson was the 3rd President of the United States. He was never a fan of formal affairs and was often reported to have worn his pajamas. Once, while meeting with the British Minister, Andrew Murray, he showed up in his pajamas. Mary was not amused. President Thomas Jefferson was once arrested along with James Madison for taking a carriage ride on the countryside of Vermont on a Sunday, which violated the laws of that state. Also, Thomas Jefferson was convinced that if he soaked his feet in a bucket of cold water every day, he would never get a cold. 3 presidents died on July 4th: Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and James Monroe.
Woodrow Wilson was the 28th President of the United States. He holds the record as the president who played the most rounds of golf. Wilson played over 1,000 rounds of this sport while in office, so about 1 round every other day. And in the winter, he'd paint his golf balls black to continue to play in the snow. Woodrow Wilson was the first to show a motion picture in the White House, The Birth of a Nation, which has become the most banned film in American history because of its depiction of the KKK as heroes. Also, Wilson's second wife was a direct descendant of Pocahontas.
John Adams was the second president of the United States. He was one of the most quietest presidents. He stood at 5 foot 7 inches. His wife shared a big responsibility to the American Republic. He didn't really have as many interesting fun facts as the rest of the president because he was mostly quiet.
Gerald Ford was the 38th President of the United States. He worked as a model in college. He was named Leslie. When his divorced mother remarried, he was adopted by his stepfather and named Gerald Ford after him.
Theodore Roosevelt was the 26th President of the United States. Teddy Roosevelt could walk on stilts. Yes, stilts. Every member of his family owned a pair of wooden stilts, including the First Lady. Once, on a hunting trip, he refused to shoot an injured bear. Word got out, and a shopkeeper's wife who made stuffed bears asked if she could call them teddy bears, and he agreed. Since then, stuffed bears have been known as teddy bears. Teddy Roosevelt was once shot in the chest before he was scheduled to give a speech. The bullet was slowed down by his 50-page speech and steel eyeglass case. Despite needing medical attention, he gave his speech, of which he started with, "Friends, I shall ask you to be as quiet as possible. I don't know whether you fully understand that I have just been shot, but it takes more than that to kill a bull moose."
George Washington was the first president of the United States. His teeth were made from elephant and walrus tusk, not wood. He was considered a taphobic because he was scared of being buried alive. George Washington didn't have enough money to get to his own inauguration, so he had to borrow $600 from his neighbor. On top of that, he made the shortest speech, 133 words and less than 2 minutes long.